Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are going to take another look at the Ronson standard automatic petrol lighter. We are going to disassemble, take a look at clearing the clogged tubes, re-wicking one of these lighters, the importance of fuel cap washers. I have made videos of all of these particular topics relating to Ronson standard lighters in the past, but there are some limitations to some of those videos. Some of those videos the audio was not good. Some of them the audio was practically non-existent or very faulty. I get complaints about that on some of those old videos. I also get a lot of questions asking me to clarify or explain things relating to the mechanism that I don't really understand. So I thought perhaps maybe I'm a little bit better at making a video than I was when those videos were made a few years ago.
Hopefully communicate a little more clearly.
I don't know if we'll get all of this squeezed into one video or not, but we are basically going to make this, or endeavor to make this, the preeminent video for vintage Ronson repair, at least the older mechanisms with the fuel screw instead of the twist bottom and the thumb lever that set lower, that came out around the mid-1950s. So everything that you see in this video will relate to most Ronson automatic petrol lighters. The Gem, Princess, I can't even remember, the Banker, all the different automatic Ronson standard type. Some of them have smaller fitments, but they are all pretty much the same mechanism, just smaller parts that make it up. So first you want to remove your Flint spring and Flint spring screw, which should all come out as one piece. When you pull that Flint spring screw out, you will see that there is a stopper or an end there on it that is not actually part of the spring. A lot of folks confuse that with the Flint. The Flint is actually going to be a small piece of alloy metal that provides your shower of spark to ignite your lighter. This is your Flint. This is your Flint spring and screw. And as I said, most of them will have an end on them. Do not confuse that with the Flint itself. The Flint is renewable. The Flint is changeable. You can replace it just like you can your fuel. This is not. This is a permanent part of the lighter. Now once you get your Flint spring screw out, then we can go ahead and remove the fulcrum cap. Take something relatively long and straight, push, keep pressure here on the top of your mechanism, pull your fulcrum screw out, then everything should lift up and out of there. plunger spring, plunger or a thumb lever, and the file wheel fell out of there. This particular snuffer is a replacement, it looks to me. I believe this was an aftermarket replacement that has the gears integrated into the snuffer, which if it's in good shape, those usually work just fine. The file wheel and clutch spring fell out there. See how that engages. Will not let it go backward. This particular lighter doesn't spark real well, so if I can find a better looking wheel, I may replace that. Now on the lighter that we have, that we just removed the mechanism, you can see that the Flint tube is clear. .332 drill down there. You can see about how far a .332 drill will go. Not far, because of the severe turn in the tube. So you want to be careful, especially when you're drilling, if you drill, especially if you're drilling with it in a power drill, then you don't want to get too much pressure going to where you're going to, when your flint gives, that you go through the flint tube, the other side of the flint tube with your drill bit. Be extremely careful and cautious. You'll also probably want to use a smaller bit than is necessary to start, just because there's not a whole lot of tolerance there with the old degraded flint. If you get off center, then you can very easily be cutting into your flint tube. One thing that I have always tried to do, if I can, is to put pressure on it before I drill, just to see, because sometimes they will just push through. Not saying it's common. But it's worth a shot. You can see the old degraded flint coming off of there. But it doesn't appear to be giving. It doesn't appear that the flint may still be structurally sound and able to move. It appears as though it is degraded and trying to grasp a hold of whatever it can. So in that case, we would go ahead and start with the smaller drill bit. And spin that without putting a ton of pressure on it. Just trying to get a hole started there in that hopefully soft flint. And it does appear as though it is giving somewhat. I am not very patient with this kind of work. My hands are damaged from the years in the Postal Service. And they get worn out quick, go numb quick. So I tend to grab the drill quicker than most may. And I'm not apologetic about it. So for the sake of this video and just to give you an idea of what the real danger is, we'll go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Get our 3/32 bit into the chuck of the drill. And we definitely don't want to put too much pressure, because like I said, you go pushing and the flint gives, and now you've put your drill through the other side of the flint tube. If you can do it by hand, then that's great. And who knows, that one might have
Cleared up just fine by hand, but like I said earlier, I don't make any apologies about using the drill. That's dictated by the condition of my hands.
But that does give you an idea of how long it would take to get through it. Just remember, take that flint spring out before you do it. We're going to use this same lighter here in a moment when it comes time to re-wick it. I didn't see any reason to re-wick this perfectly well wicked lighter that we took the mechanism off of, but it didn't have a block tube for me to drill out. But this one that did have the block tube to drill out also does have a wick that can be changed. So that's what we will be doing here as soon as I can get my hand cleaned up from all this debris.